great experience, whatever. So Dillon Gabriel, while all this is going on, he says, there people are, I think, competitors and people are entertainers. I'm a competitor. And Dillon Gabriel said after the game, again, only in 2025, after the game, the media was like, hey, people are kind of fired up about your comment on social media. Was that directed at Shedeur? And he was like, no, it wasn't. People making the assumption that when he says some people are entertainers, some people are competitors, he might be inferring that Shedeur is the entertainer and he's the competitor. Look, here's the deal, man. Okay. Shouldn't have said it. Kind of dumb. A little bit of a little something there. A little salty, I think. Whether, he walked it back after the game, said he was not talking about Shedeur. I can tell you one thing I know from covering Shedeur all last year in the Big 12. Not like I know the dude, but following him and his career, he doesn't care. I'm telling you, if Dillon Gabriel's like, hey, let's, he said I wasn't meant as Shedeur will not care. I think that's one of the reasons why we're going to see Shedeur be successful, because he just keeps it moving. I'm telling you, he rises above the fray for a young man. People don't like the way he handles himself. Some people don't. Like it or not, he's got a short-term memory, and a lot of stuff washes over him, and I think this is going to be another thing. Stupid comment by Dillon Gabriel, but ultimately a stupid draft pick by the Browns. You take a guy who's 5'11", in the third round of the NFL draft, okay? Do you guys know how many quarterbacks, 5'11" or under, have won a Super Bowl? You could argue, well, you can't argue. Russell Wilson, if you want to say he's 5'11", and Drew Brees, who might be 6 foot, probably 5'11". After that, right? So you got two guys in hundreds of modern day NFL quarterbacks. Two guys have won a Super Bowl that are 5'11" and under. Right? You try finding more quarterbacks that have been successful at 5'11" and under. It's really difficult. We're again. I was a note-taking fool this morning. I have some. Let's see who else. Doug Flutie. You're reaching all the way to Doug Flutie, right? Like he was 5'10". Guys that are that tall struggle in the NFL. You're trying to throw over a line that's 6'4", 6'7", okay? You really have to run a lot of play action, a lot of rollout. You have to tailor the playbook for this guy and his size, right? You got to put him in a lot of space, a lot of quick reads, right? A lot of lateral stuff. So it's really tough to imagine Dillon Gabriel actually like cracking the lineup to play this year, right? It is not that hard to imagine Shedeur Sanders cracking the lineup and playing this year. There's just so much more that lends itself to the debate that Shedeur Sanders is going to be a better quarterback in the NFL long-term than Dillon Gabriel. And my argument, really, just to keep it simple, stops and starts with you're 5'11", bro. Like, no shade, but like, I don't see it happening. You know why? Because I got history on my side. I've got history on my side. So if Dillon Gabriel emerges, right, and somehow becomes the next Russell Wilson, who, by the way, should have won 2 Super Bowls, but he won 1, should have won 2. I know Russell Wilson's kind of like a bit of a weirdo, who people say he is, but the guy, look, man, he was a hell of a quarterback for one time in the NFL, for a time in the NFL. Not anymore. I actually think we'll see Jackson Dart sooner than later. He's having an amazing preseason, and that's a pretty good sign for Giants fans. Not a good sign for Russell Wilson. I think his career is probably going to end this season, maybe, like for all intents and purposes. But again, you really have to press to find a guy who's got the measurables of a Dillon Gabriel who had success in the NFL. So it is all Shedeur when it comes down to that, because Kevin Stefanski and the Browns, they're not, you really have to take the bull by the horns, man, if you want to be a guy that's 5'11" and starts in the NFL. You have to take a while to convince your organization that you are the guy, okay? Then said organization probably has to go out and find a different offensive coordinator who runs a system that will make you flourish, right? Because you're different. You're 5'11", dude. that's just kind of how it is. And again, this is not me talking. This is the ghosts of NFL pasts, right? And the whispers of NFL future as well. I can put it all on that, man. I have no real faith in that. I'm away from the studio today, so I got to peer down at my notes again.